Subscribe to this channel right now. This is likely, potentially, like the Honorable James Comey says, potentially, possibly, one of the greatest political stories of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time you're going to hear this, and this is pure speculation on my part. I'm allowed to speculate, and I'm allowed to look at things as they are. President Obama almost certainly dislikes Clinton and has disliked Clinton since 2008, probably before 2008. He likely despises a whole bunch of people within the Democratic Party. That doesn't mean that he's absolved or exonerated from starting the Trump-Russia hoax with Clapper and Brennan and Comey and others at the behest of Hillary Clinton. But The Atlantic, Obama manager accuses Clintons of widespread dirty politics. January 19, 2008. Then you get Clinton aides claim Obama photo wasn't intended as a smear. They're the ones who started the birther myth. Obama's campaign today accused Hillary Clinton's beleaguered staff of mounting a desperate dirty tricks operation by circulating a picture of him. Okay. Obama's campaign manager, David Plouffe, described it as the most shameful, offensive fear-mongering we've seen from either party this election. Okay. That started from Clinton and Democrats. Now we get this, and this is why I think, ladies and gentlemen, I really think that, and there's music in the background, and, there's always the potential for a copyright issue, but I want you to watch this, hit subscribe, go to H.A. Goodman's other channel after this live stream. I want you to watch this. Now, President Trump is not the type of person to laugh and kibitz and talk to somebody that he really doesn't like. Trump and Obama like each other. I would imagine President Obama likes President Trump a lot more than he enjoys the Clintons or especially Hillary. I'm speculating here based on a public interaction recently between President Obama and President Trump. And I'm speculating based on the fact that President Obama's campaign manager routinely accused Clinton's team of dirty tricks, 200 separate incidents of trouble at caucus sites, including doors being closed of 30 minutes, registration forms running out, so people were turned away. This happened, of course, to Bernie Sanders, but he was in on it. President Obama was not in on, they weren't going to cheat President Obama, they waited to cheat Bernie Sanders. But that's another story. They don't even have functioning primaries. This was before the primary system was a complete farce. But anyway, check this out. Does this seem like somebody who isn't going to help President Trump? Check it out. They're laughing. They're talking. Look at this photo right here. Does it seem like these are two adversaries that despise one another? Okay. And I'm showing this without the music playing in the background. Leyland, thank you. Leyland, thank you so very much. I do appreciate your support always, Leyland. Thank you. Leyland, does this look like somebody? Does this look like President Obama is going to be indicted by President Trump? Or does this look like Obama is going to completely take over the Democratic Party, helping Trump indict Clinton and Comey and McCabe and Brennan and Clapper and all of them, because he wants to do away with the old regime. And also, he wants to circumvent the 1% chance that he gets indicted. So here you have and what are they talking about? They're laughing. They're having a good time. They're smiling. and they're sitting next to each other. Okay? Hillary is all the way on the other end. Okay? And you can watch this, and if you think I'm nuts, I may be. But President Obama is going to help President Trump indict a whole lot of people and convict a whole lot of people, including Hillary Clinton. Because the Clintons and the older regime within the Democratic Party still hold a great deal of influence and power. President Obama can consolidate power within the Democratic Party, and it's a question mark as to whether or not, he really wanted to. Here, let's just go ahead and here's the complete 3 minutes of it. It's a question mark as to whether or not President Obama truly wanted to set up and frame Trump in the manner that he did. It doesn't absolve President Obama's role in creating a new Cold War. But I want you to watch this interaction. This is not Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump would not interact this way. Okay? I don't even think Bush and Trump would interact this way. They're part of a club. There's only 47 presidents. They're part of American and world history. Secretary of State, senator, congressperson, kind of, sort of, not really. And now President Obama shakes Pence's hand. And, I don't know if, did Trump shake Pence's hand? I'm not even sure. Let's see. Did Trump shake Pence's hand? Let's see if he shakes Pence's hand. Okay, Al Gore, Pence. Okay. He sits down. So this is really interesting, ladies and gentlemen. And this is something that I think, ladies and gentlemen, that the speculation here, and absurd imbeciles will say, it's a theory, he's spreading conspiracies. No, I have no clue if this is true. I'm speculating based on video footage. I'm speculating based on 2008 news reports about how they despised each other, Clinton and Obama. I'm speculating, and I'm allowed to, make these assumptions because they likely make sense. He's shaking Gore's hand, he shook Pence's hand, and now he's sitting right next to Trump. Why would he be sitting right next to Trump? He could have sat, well, okay, maybe it's because the Clintons were over there. So he sits, check this out, this is amazing. Immediately start talking. This is great. And all the people, all the morally superior liberal Democrats who say Trump is a despot, if you disown friends and family because they voted for Trump, how do you feel that President Obama, a saint in your life, is having a great time with President Trump? There's no animosity there, which makes me think that there's no way that President Trump wants to indict President Obama. There's also political issues and reasons as well. But we'll get to Tulsi Gabbard. We'll get to all the criminal behavior linked to Hillary Clinton. But check it out again. And then we'll get to President Trump acknowledging this. And what are they talking about? I don't know. If you can decipher what they're talking about in the comments section, let me know. And they're still talking. And they're laughing. And they're laughing. I can tell you there's probably a 95% chance that Obama likes Trump as a human being more than he likes Hillary Clinton. Because I don't see President Obama speaking to Hillary or anyone else in that manner. Publicly, at least. And they're still talking. Fool me once, fool me twice, sitting down. And they're still talking. They're having a good time talking. Do you think Trump is going to indict President Obama? You think he has animosity towards President Obama? The animosity he has is towards the people who really created this. Obama was in his last term, his last months in office. The people who created this with the most venom and vitriol are the ones he's going to indict. All right? So, this is President Trump acknowledging.
Tomorrow.
Off the top, you mentioned the Carter funeral today. What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say.
I thought you guys hated each other.
I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other. And we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know, we just got along. But I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we went on. And I thought it was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well.
They like each other, okay? They're friends. They're presidents, okay? Obama didn't indict Trump. The Democrat Party, the loyalists and apoplectic, hyperventilating, frothing at the mouth partisans tried to kick him out of off the ballot, tried to imprison him, so the apparatus that is now being dismantled with the government shutdown even faster than before. The apparatus went after Trump. The apparatus, the government structure, the bureaucracy, the cold, unfeeling bureaucracy went after Trump because Madam Secretary, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, all of these people at the Bureau, the DOJ, the CIA, other places went after Trump. So much so there was an attempt on Trump's life. Of course, that had nothing to do with anyone else other than that crazy young man who we know nothing about. It is officially my claim and statement and my opinion that absolutely nothing, there's no link between the attempt on Trump's life in Butler and, anyone who disliked Trump other than that one person.
I thought you guys hated each other.
I didn't realize it, how friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other. And we probably do.
President Obama and President Trump do like each other. Number one. Number two, they're presidents. They're part of a very prestigious club within world history, not just American history. Okay. Number three, President Obama has every reason to help President Trump indict and convict Comey, Clapper, Brennan, and Hillary Clinton. He can consolidate, number one, he can consolidate power within the Democratic Party, completely crush the I'm with her crowd forever, or whatever, pacify them or whatever. Just consolidate power and influence. So he controls the Democratic Party for the next 20, 30 years. And he can circumvent the 1% chance that he possibly faces any legal repercussions. Okay? There could be further investigations after these indictments that implicate Obama further. Why would he not want to help Trump? This is President Obama and Trump really quickly during Trump's first term, the first couple days.
Well, I just had the opportunity to have an excellent conversation with President-elect Trump. it was wide-ranging. We talked about some of the organizational issues in setting up a White House. We talked about foreign policy. We talked about domestic policy. And as I said last night, my number one priority in the coming 2 months is to try to facilitate a transition that ensures our president-elect is successful. I have been very encouraged by the, I think, interest in President-elect Trump's wanting to work with my team around many of the issues that this great country faces. And I believe that it is important for all of us, regardless of party and regardless of political preferences, to now come together, work together to deal with the many challenges that we face. And in the meantime, Michelle has had a chance to greet the incoming First Lady, and we had an excellent conversation with her as well, and we want to make sure that they feel welcome as they prepare. Most of all, I want to emphasize to you, Ms. President-elect, that we now are going to want to do everything we can to help you succeed, because if you succeed, then the country succeeds. Please. Sorry.
Well, thank you very much, President Obama. This was a meeting that was going to last for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we were just going to get to know each other. We had never met each other. I have great respect. The meeting lasted for almost an hour and a half, and it could have, as far as I'm concerned, it could have gone on for a lot longer. We really, we discussed a lot of different situations, some wonderful and some difficulties. I very much look forward to dealing with the president in the future, including counsel. He explained some of the difficulties, some of the high-flying assets, and some of the really great things that have been achieved. So, Mr. President, it was a great honor being with you, and I look forward to being with you many, many more times in the future. Thank you, sir.
All right, so I'm just trying to show you moments, especially, this moment right here. We'll just watch this again really quickly, and then we'll listen to Tulsi Gabbard. This moment again right here during Carter's funeral. You can just look at this, and it might be difficult for some people to believe, but this isn't rocket science, okay? If you're the President of the United States of America, you're the outgoing president, President Obama. Again, it doesn't absolve what he allowed take place under his watch, or what he helped orchestrate or helped start. President Obama was president when all of this started. The fuel, the origins, were the Steele dossier funded by Clinton and the DNC. Brennan and Comey and Clapper, they were the ones who continued and really went after Trump and tried to and created the whole Russia hoax. I'm not trying to absolve President Obama. I'm just trying to tell you that it behooves him. It almost certainly he will help President Trump, in my humble view. So you can disagree or agree. That's fine. Okay. I think that it is far more difficult for lifelong Democrats to acknowledge this possibility than it is for, people like you and me, or like most people like who think like us in terms of what took place the past 10 years. And they're talking, they're having a good time. I do not think, based on this interaction with President Trump, this is after an attempt on his life. This is after 10 years of setting up and framing him. He doesn't blame Obama. He does not, even though it started, he does not blame President Obama. Now, when Tulsi Gabbard says it was an Obama-led, that's more incentive for President Obama to then say, okay, I'll help you indict and convict these people because I don't want the legal, any liability or legal ramifications. It's like I said, there's two reasons why Obama would help Trump. Number one, to consolidate power to completely control the Democratic Party's future. Number two, to circumvent any possible liability in the future, legal, or criminal liability, because it was a crime to set up and frame Trump with those phony intelligence reports and create a new Cold War. But again, that was at the behest, or that originated with the Steele dossier purchased by Clinton and the DNC. There wasn't a shred of evidence that pointed to Trump working with Russia. There was literally no evidence at all. Nothing. And if anyone points to this and that, that's not evidence. That's called intelligence. Even Brennan stated that there's a difference between that. But look at that. They're talking. Watch this again. And again, people, this is after Butler. This is after 10 years. President Trump is not the type of person to speak to somebody in the manner he's speaking to they're two presidents. They're part of a club that nobody's a part of. That's number three. Okay. They're part of a club that nobody else is a part of. Okay. Now we get to the fact that they're blaming Obama first and then going after everyone else. That's huge. They indicted Comey first. They will then indict Brennan, Hillary Clinton, almost certainly Clapper, and others.
They manufactured findings from shoddy sources. They suppressed evidence and credible intelligence that disproved their false claims. They disobeyed traditional tradecraft intelligence community standards and withheld the truth from the American people.
A spokesperson for President Obama hitting back with this: our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing.
Thank you, Fed Up Patriot. Thank you. I'm not into any. I'm totally opposed, and I appreciate your support. I'm totally opposed to that message board. So I actually, go on my website, atradegoodman.com. I was one of the first people to just oppose and expose that terrible, terrible message board regarding, trust this, trust that. But Fed Up Patriot, I appreciate you watching, and I appreciate you, Fed Up Patriot, going ahead and being so supportive in the live chat. So thank you, Fed Up Patriot. Thank you so much. Just wanted to clarify my stance on that's one of those statements. But thank you so much, Fed Up Patriot. Let's continue.
Going out of the White House with a response, but these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. That was on Tuesday when this all started to come out. Congressman Jim Jordan is standing by with his reaction to what we just heard from the DNI, Tulsi Gabbard. But first to national correspondent Griff Jenkins, live covering this for us as it breaks from the White House. Hi, Griff.
Hi, Martha. Well, DNI Tulsi Gabbard certainly surprised us at today's White House briefing, laying out key findings from documents related to the Russia hoax, as the White House likes to call it, and particularly focusing in on a report from the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence from 2020 based on an investigation from three.
Daniel Duncan, thank you for becoming a member. To the members, thank you. To my super chat, thank you. Patriot, thank you.
Years prior. Listen here.
In the January 2017 intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered, John Brennan, who was CIA director at the time, and the intelligence community intentionally suppressed intelligence that showed Putin was saving the most damaging material that he had in his possession about Hillary Clinton until after her potential and likely victory.
Classified, Martha, also states that former CIA Director Brennan, quote, ordered the post-election publication of 15 reports containing previously collected but unpublished intelligence, 3 of which were substandard, containing information that was unclear, of uncertain origin, potentially biased or implausible, and those became foundational sources for the ICA judgments that Putin preferred Trump over Clinton.
So Obama had nothing to do directly with the bureaucracy behind it. Okay, he was only in it was his last 2 months, October, November, December, January. So it was his last 3 to 4 months of the presidency. Then Clinton started with the dossier. Then she had then links to the DNC and Clinton DOJ operatives, lawyers, attorneys, public relation firms, law firms. They're the ones that started all of this. So why would Obama want any liability, legal or criminal liability? Okay, of course he's going to say, "Oh, it's outlandish." What do you want him to say? Yeah, Trump is right. But at the end of the day, does it help him to defend? Does it help Obama to defend Clinton and Comey and Brennan? Yes or no? We have 800 people on this live stream. Does it answer? Give me your thoughts. We have 800, and so 800. We're going on 1,000 viewers. You tell me. Does it help Obama to protect Brennan? Does it help Obama to protect Hillary Clinton? Does it help Obama to protect James Comey? Does it help President Obama to protect Clapper? Or does it benefit President Obama to ensure that these people are indicted, convicted, and Democrats move on? And he controls the Democratic Party completely. Because right now, you still have the Clintons, the I'm with her crowd, still controlling everything. Okay, Clinton could be the nominee. They should be the nominee in 28. Easily. And pretty much everything that I have said is taking place. Trump winning, coming back, telling people Biden would drop out. I said Comey was going to get indicted like 8 years straight. I've been telling you Clinton's going to get indicted for about 1 million years. And she'll probably run for president, indicted, even convicted. So those things, the only thing that won't happen, thank God, is Bernie Sanders. But he was in on the whole thing. If it was a fair primary, he would have won. But anyway, let's continue.
The report comes the day after President Trump accuses predecessor of treason. Gabbard now says she's leaving that up to the DOJ and the FBI.
We have referred and will continue to refer all of these documents to the Department of Justice and the FBI to investigate the criminal implications of this.
For even former
the evidence,
President Obama?
Correct. The evidence that we have found and that we have released directly point to President Obama leading the manufacturing of this intelligence assessment.
That's called negotiating. That's called negotiating. Wouldn't you want to let President Obama know, if you're President Trump, wouldn't you want him to know, hey, we have you tied legally, morally and legally, to the Russia hoax. Started under your watch. Now, hey, you can help us out. Okay. Sounds good. Let's do business. Let's see here. Where is this? Okay, let's do business. We get along. We're both presidents. Aren't we both presidents? Okay, we both have the same person that annoys us all the time. Madam Secretary, the wonderful, highly experienced computer server person. So let's continue anyway.
And Martha, already Democrats, including the Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, is dismissing this report as acts of desperation, reckless acts of desperation. We're continuing to follow this story and see what other reactions we can get.
Never
2016 and in 2020, right out of their office, they said his orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level.
President Trump today calling out former President Obama after DNI Tulsi Gabbard sent a criminal referral to the DOJ related to her claims that Obama-era officials manufactured and politicized intelligence to create the Russia collusion narrative.
If you're President Obama and you know Kash Patel and you know Tulsi Gabbard and you know John Radcliffe, that's the most important, I think. And then you know, and you have Radcliffe, Patel, Tulsi Gabbard, Pam Bondi, and you have J.D. Vance is about to become president. Ain't nobody getting close to J.D. Vance. Okay, they said they want to run AOC, which I pray to God, the God that Democrats don't believe in. I pray to God that AOC runs. But I think Hillary's still going to run. I don't care if it's 100 years from now. I don't care. But anyway, why wouldn't you want to help Trump? And plus, they're part of a club with 47 people in it called the presidency. They're part of world history. And Trump understands that Obama had to play ball. He had to simply acquiesce. He didn't really have to, but there were probably too many. The way the Democrats work is that if President Obama did not acquiesce, then Hillary would have had an Obama dossier, and then they would have tried to go after him. So that's the way Democrats work. You saw it with Bernie Sanders. You saw it with Biden. They turned on Biden so quickly while he was president. What do you think they would do with legal and criminal implications tied to President Obama's administration and his presidency? If they kicked Biden out, what do you think they would do if President Obama didn't say, okay, let's go ahead and, I will be president while this takes place. Anyway, let's continue.
In 2016, intelligence that those officials have said they had great confidence in.
John Brennan and Jim Comey and I are part of the group that were tasked by President Obama to put together all the reporting we had on the Russian interference.
Clapper already in 2019 blamed President Obama. We were tasked by President Obama. But that's a lie by omission also. They were essentially tasked by Hillary Clinton. The Steele dossier was filtered through the United States government, the Department of Justice, the Central Intelligence Agency, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. That doesn't really implicate President Obama, but it kind of does. And you just heard Clapper right then blame Obama. I mean, the Democrats will turn on each other in 2 seconds. Same with the Bush administration. The never Trump Republicans. The thing that makes Trump so amazing is that he runs on principle. It's not the principles that Democrats care about. He wants to enforce immigration laws. Democrats do not want that. He wants to limit American interventionism. He wants to limit never-ending wars. Democrats don't care about that. He wants to promote tariffs, implement tariffs to ensure that there's fair trade agreements. The Democrats don't want that. Anyway, let's continue.
And which we did. And then, of course, on January 6th, we issued our intelligence community assessment documenting the Russian interference, in which we had very high confidence in the evidence that we presented.
Gabbard also teeing up that there will be more declassified documents coming this week. Ahead of that, here's what we've learned so far. December 7th, 2016, the assessment reiterated that Russia did not tamper with election infrastructure. Just 1 day later, the editor of that assessment canceled the brief, quote, based on new guidance. By December 9th, 2016, Obama convened National Security Council principals and ordered a new assessment And on January 6, 2017, the new unclassified assessment was released. Obama's office today firing back, issuing the following statement. Out of respect for the office of the presidency, our office does not normally dignify the constant nonsense and misinformation flowing.
What do you expect him to say? Hillary made me do it? You think he's going to say that? Even Democrats themselves don't believe that President Obama ordered it himself, but he was president. He has a legal, or there's liability there. There's a legal liability that he can completely erase by helping Trump, and I think he's already helping Trump. I really do. I'm not saying this. This is pure speculation. This is pure speculation. I think President Obama is helping President Trump, whether it's phone calls, whether it's letters, whether it's through a liaison of individuals. Who knows? Maybe it's, hey, you probably should look on the file cabinet on, in a certain location, and go look there. Why don't you look there? Okay, or maybe helping John Radcliffe, maybe helping Kash Patel. You probably want to check this text message here. Who knows? Like I said, consolidate the Democratic Party, consolidate power in the Democratic Party, and circumvent any legal liability for the Russia hoax.
Flowing out of this White House with a response, but these claims are outrageous enough to merit one. These bizarre allegations are ridiculous and a weak attempt at distraction. Nothing in the document issued last week undercuts the widely accepted conclusion that Russia worked to influence the 2016 presidential election, but did not successfully manipulate any votes. These findings were affirmed in a 2020 report by the bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee, led by then Chairman Marco Rubio. Joining me now.
It was not bipartisan because even then Rubio wasn't really on board with Trump. It was not bipartisan. There's no such thing as bipartisan if you don't have Trump Republicans on a panel. There's no such thing as bipartisan if you don't have Trump Republicans on a panel. If Liz Cheney and Kinzinger are on the Unselect Committee, that is not bipartisan. That's the same political side.
To react is the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Director Gabbard, give me your response to what we heard from former President Obama there. He's saying that none of this makes any sense, that this is a distraction. What do you say to that?
It's the art of deflection.
John, thank you. Me too. John, thank you so very much for the kind words. I agree with you. Thank you, John, for the super chat. Thanks, everybody, for your super chat support. And to my new viewers, hit subscribe. 1,000+ people. Go to H.A. Goodman's other channel. You have a synopsis of all of this in an upload on H.A. Goodman's other channel. It's in the description of this segment right now. So definitely subscribe there and hit subscribe and watch that segment on H.A. Goodman's other channel. We have 20,000 subs or so there. Let's get it to 100,000.
Coming from former President Obama, as well as his friends who are still in Congress today, and Senator Warner and Congressman Jim Himes, really all basically saying that exact same statement, which doesn't actually address the issue that was revealed in great detail in the over 100 documents that we released last week, and the documents that we will be releasing later this week, that point to the undeniable fact that you laid out in your introduction to this segment, is that the intelligence community had one assessment, that Russia did not have the intent or capability to try to impact the outcome of the U.S. election leading up to Election Day. The same assessment was made after Donald Trump was elected by the American people as president in 2016, defeating Hillary Clinton. And it wasn't until after that pulled President's Daily Brief document that you referenced that the Principals Committee was called in the National Security Council. And President Obama then directed Obama's DNI James Clapper to lead the effort to create this new intelligence community assessment that detailed not if, but how Moscow attempted to influence the outcome of the U.S. election. So this is the thing that I think people should pay attention to, is neither the message from President Obama's office, neither the statements coming from Democrats in Congress today and their friends in the propaganda media. None of them are addressing this fact that there was a shift, a 180-degree shift from the intelligence community's assessment leading up to the election to the one that President Obama directed be produced after Donald Trump won the election, that completely contradicted those assessments that had come previously. The second thing I want to address that's very important, Laura, is that you in the clip that you played, you saw John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey stated with high confidence this January intelligence community assessment that they drafted at the direction of President Obama. The fact is that they used already discredited information like the Steele dossier. They knew it was discredited at that time, yet they used it as a source for this document that they claim to have high confidence in. They used intelligence that...
And who purchased the Steele dossier? Oh, that's right. The same person that Obama accused of dirty politics. Why do you think they get along so well? Because they both had to deal with Hillary. Let's continue.
Some of these intelligence community professionals rejected previously because of the lack of credibility and the lack of the ability to vet with any kind of confidence whether or not that information or intelligence was accurate and could be used for an assessment. There's a long laundry list of facts and intelligence reporting that directly contradict the statement coming from President Obama's office and those who are trying to deflect away from what actually happened, which was after Donald Trump was elected, led by President Obama, there was an effort to create a document that would serve as a foundation for what would be a years-long coup against President Trump, therefore trying to subvert the will of the American people who sent him to the White House in 2016.
Well, it's amazing that you are now releasing all of this. And Tulsi, I have to tell you, for those of us who lived through it, thank you. I think it's great that we're getting this information out. You say there is more information, there are more documents to be released. Anything you can tell us on that?
We will be releasing these documents shortly in the wake of the release that we did last week. I'm very encouraged by the fact that we have whistleblowers coming forward who are intelligence community professionals who were there when this happened and who were disgusted by it and are heartened at the possibility and the hope that the truth will see the light of day. And of course, the most important thing is that the American people see accountability, which is why we're referring and have already sent all of the documents that we have currently and any others that we get in the future to the Department of Justice to bring about that accountability, to ensure that the integrity of our democratic republic exists, that the American people can have faith and trust that who they vote for in our elections to be elected will actually be respected by those who are leaving power.
Amen to that. Well, Director Tulsi Gabbard, thank you so much for great confidence in.
Now watch this, okay? Watch this. This is exactly why my speculation is very likely correct.
John Brennan and Jim Comey and I are part of the group that were tasked by President Obama to put together all the reporting we had on the Russian interference.
We were tasked by President Obama. It had nothing to do with national security concerns where we had evidence of Trump committing treason. We were tasked by President Obama. Well, was there evidence of collusion? No, we were tasked by the president. At that time, it was President Obama. That also will be testimony in a court of law. There's a 1% chance, because there's like virtually a 100% chance that Hillary Clinton and Comey will get more indictments, and James Clapper and Brennan. Clapper might not actually. He might circumvent. Who knows? Probably Clapper, almost certainly Clapper. Brennan, they'll all get indicted. But the first sign where there was any accountability was like around 2018, 2019, after the Mueller probe. The first sign where there was some kind of accountability, Clapper blamed Obama. What do you think's going to happen? They're probably talking on the phone like teenagers, Obama and Trump. laughing, talking, and oh, hey, you know what? This is it's crazy, huh? How we're friends again.
And which we did. And then, of course, on January 6th, we issued our intelligence community assessment documenting the Russian interference, in which we had very high confidence in the evidence that we presented.
And now we get to this picture. Okay, do you think that President Obama is going to be at ease in the same manner with Clapper or Brennan? You think John Brennan and President Obama are going to talk and kibitz in this manner? Everyone, look, almost everyone that set up and framed Trump would tomorrow sue President Obama or implicate him in a criminal act if it behooved them to do so. And I said this like 8 years ago. Like I literally said the same thing about, 7, 8 years ago. Do you think that you think that President Obama and President Trump, you think this is an act? No. You think President Obama would be as comfortable with Brennan? Let me know in the live chat. You think President Obama would be laughing like this? Check this out. You think that they would be laughing or whatever? Where is that laugh? Hold on one second. We'll just watch this again. Okay, hold on. So there you go. They're talking right away. He's leaning in and talking and laughing, smiling. And President Obama is, looks like he has something really interesting to say. Hey, man, fool me once, but twice is on you, man. Fool me 3 times. There's the artist, Bush, the worst president objectively, one of the worst after Biden. Biden and Bush are the 2 worst presidents of all time. Hey, fool me twice. Okay, now they're still talking. They're having a good time, smiling. This is after Butler, Pennsylvania. This is after 10 years of the Russia hoax. Trump doesn't blame Obama for the dossier, all of that stuff, but he's going to, this is called negotiating. He's going to start by saying, hey, started from President Obama. Even Clapper was blaming Obama in 2019. Like I said, there's 2 reasons. One is to consolidate power within the Democratic Party, and 2 is to circumvent legal repercussions. So, and they're still talking. So, I mean, it's there's no way that President Obama is impeding President Trump. There's absolutely no way that he's impeding any investigation. That's not happening. He's not impeding. We know that that's certain. The speculation is that President Obama will help indict Clinton. Okay. And Fed Up Patriot, thank you again. The speculation is that President Obama will help indict Clinton. You have to remember that there was a wrestling match in the Democratic Party in 2008. Obama won that. There's probably going to be a wrestling match also right now. Okay, she's the one who started the birther myth. Okay, that wasn't Trump that started. That was Clinton. Okay. This also could implicate President Obama, and one of the reasons he almost certainly sided with Trump already. Check this out.
But the larger point that I want to emphasize here is that there is no serious person out there who would suggest somehow that you could even rig America's elections, in part because they're so decentralized and the numbers of votes involved. There's no evidence that that has happened in the past, or that there are instances in which that will happen this time. And so I'd advise Mr. Trump to stop whining and go try to make his case to get votes. And if he got the most votes, then it would be my expectation of Hillary Clinton to offer a gracious concession speech and pledge to work with him in order to make sure that the American people benefit from an effective government.
So the outcome of the election can't be altered. And then, of course, 10 years of Russia, Russia, Russia. And then it was his hope that Hillary Clinton would work with Trump to better the country. Instead, she created, along with Democrats, a new Cold War, a new McCarthy-era Red Scare hysteria with apoplectic, hysterical, morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats texting friends and family, I can't be your friend anymore. I can't be your friend anymore. You voted for Trump. He worked with Russia. He emboldens the bad people. He did this, he did that. I read this in the Washington Post and New York Times and all. It's been non-stop hysteria. Non-stop hysteria. Let's continue.
And it would be my job to welcome Mr. Trump, regardless of what he said about me or my differences with him on my opinions, and escort him over to the Capitol, in which there would be a peaceful transfer of power. That's what Americans do.
There wasn't a peaceful transfer of power. And he knows that, which is why he's helping Trump almost certainly indict and convict Hillary Clinton, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, because they almost certainly broke the law, numerous laws. And that implicates President Obama. Like I said, and I'll say it a million times, he's helping President Trump almost certainly to consolidate power within the Democratic Party, because only he will remain politically standing. You know, Clinton gets indicted, she'll get convicted, but she will get indicted. Maybe not convicted, but almost certainly she'll get indicted. James Clapper, Brennan, Comey, they'll get convicted of other things, not just perjury. Almost certainly. But why wouldn't he want to, number one, consolidate power, and number two, circumvent any legal repercussions that everyone below him, because they're all going to blame him. And that's the thing also. You don't think they're going to blame, you just heard Clapper in 2019, that like the second that there was any heat, he's like, well, President Obama commissioned, he asked us to do so we worked for him, so it was his fault. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, God bless you all. Check this out again. Hey, man. How you doing? Check out my artwork. Sorry about those counterinsurgency conflicts and wars and market crash, but mainly the wars, endless wars that I started, man. But the Democrats love me, man, so it's all good. And now they're laughing. Look at this photo, though. Does this seem like people who the two people who dislike each other? Look at this photo. Does it seem like these are two people that despise one another? Do you think that Obama would be genuinely as happy with Hillary sitting next to him? Or Clapper, or Brennan, or Comey, or McCabe, or any like lifelong bureaucrat that has a team of legal people that would turn on him in 2 seconds? Trump doesn't need money. He doesn't need politics. He doesn't need fame. So, anyway, hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Go to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. It's in the description of this live stream. And watch the synopsis of this right now. Go to H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. Thanks, everybody. If you're new to this channel, H.A. Goodman, hit subscribe. God bless you all. Thank you, everybody. This is